What's up? I'm Chef Nicolas Ganea, and one of the things I came across today was the Food Network's little article. They were talking about the 9 mistakes that people make or do to make their kitchen dirtier. I was actually kind of surprised that people would pull this kind of behavior off by just reading this. I mean, if you're writing this, they're clearly finding out people do this. I really hope people learn that they shouldn't do this, because if I do this in my commercial kitchens, we would get written up or even shut down, and it would actually lower our marks of cleanliness, because just in Seattle we have this thing called excellent, good, okay, and what's it called, bad. Oh, needs improvement, that's the one. Most likely people won't go to it, but people have this mindset that, and I've talked to health inspectors what their opinion is about hole-in-the-wall restaurants, and they have like terrible reviews of cleanliness and sanitation, and it's like, have you tried teaching the public? Yeah, but they don't listen. What they don't see is that they just think like what they can't see of like bacteria, it must be fine, and it's really hard to educate the public. So I hopefully, by telling you some of this, just like what we experience as chefs, maybe this help you improve your cleanliness at home. I'm going to be honest with you, I highly doubt it. I don't think most people are going to, not to be pessimistic on this, I just know human beings are not willing to change most of the time. I can think of my little brother. My little brother is one of those people. He has very terrible habits of cleanliness. When he was doing kombucha, and he's like, yeah, I think something went wrong. Yeah, you're not really the most cleanest person that I know, so it makes sense why your kombucha was... So let's go over this one. So one of the things I've known this one. I know a lot of I don't know why they do this, like where this came from, but I know the black community they do this a lot, because that's the only people I know that do this. They've rinsed their meats and their chicken because they think it's bad. Where this habit comes from is, I know chefs and cooks will literally get chicken. And I've known from the past, because they're trying to lower their food costs, they'll rinse it off to get that smell and bacteria out of the way, that sliminess, and then they'll throw all the spice over it, and that's it. I'm sure someone picked up, and this is just my intuition talking, and because I know people pick up from, oh, I saw a chef wash their meat, and it gets all that juice, and they're probably most likely to cook BS, the person saying, oh yeah, we do this to get rid of all that excess liquid because it has this off flavor. I'm sure some dickhead said that, no doubt in my mind. And then someone ate it up. Oh, really? Guys, please do not wash your meats. There's no point of it. You're gonna cook for it. It does nothing but spread germs in your sink. Most likely, you're not gonna be the person that's gonna get soapy water and clean your sink. And second, it's gonna spill everywhere, exactly what this article is saying. And the third thing is, I know you will not use bleach or sanitizer to clean your sinks, so you're increasing the chances of getting yourself sick. And I see this so often, where people blame other like restaurants for, oh, I ate this food and I got sick. I highly doubt that, because we have temp logs and we also check everything we do. You're more likely the person's going to do it because you've got really terrible habits and you don't practice on a day-to-day basis. So the other one that I come across on the list is mistake of cooling food completely before storing. That one's strange. I don't know why people would do this. Actually, I do kind of know. I see why someone would do this. I take it you've made a soup or you've made some sort of meal, and I know some people are so lazy. You've maybe used let's just use Instant Pot for example. You've cooked it, you've taken it out, and you've eaten whatever you have. You left it out in room temp for some time, and it's okay, now it's cool, now I can put it in my fridge. And you leave it in that whole container. This is such a terrible habit. And then some people even wrap it, making it harder for your food to cool down. You've increased the chances of getting sick. Not to mention you're gonna... Oh my god, I can't even believe this, that people do this. It's so disgusting. I can't even imagine what bacteria and harmful things you've done to yourself because of this. Oh, diarrhea, oh god, I think I ate something bad. I think it was the 7-Eleven. No, it was your poor habits. If you're ever going to cool something down, pull it away, Yes, let it sit for a second so that, you know, it's not super hot. Pour into another container, then put in the fridge. Because most likely you have a fridge that is plastic and you don't want it to melt. I get that part. Just switch it to another container, then cool it down. But don't put it on the top shelf of your fridge, because that steam is going to go all the way through your fridge, because it's going to evaporate up. It's going to go into your freezer. And if you've ever wondered why you have products that are freezing on the top, maybe your jams, your sauces, and it's got this frostbite over them. Oh, what happened? I don't understand what happened. That's what's happened. You've literally tricked your freezer that it's hot, so then it starts activating again, and it pushes more cold air and ruining all your products. So put it on the bottom. That's the best solution for that, and you'll have a higher chance. You have at least, here's the thing, you have 4 hours to cool it down to 70 degrees, and then you have 6 hours to cool it down completely. And if you're covering it, you have a higher chance of getting yourself sick. The chances are much higher, and it's a bigger risk in restaurants, because we have such larger amounts of product. We have maybe 40 people, 1,000 people, and it's, you know, in various containers. The most you can ever put in a container is about 30 to 50 people in a hotel pan. It's just one of the containers we use. It's pretty large. The other thing it comes in is number 3. This is a mistake, returning leftovers to the fridge. This one's strange. This is what it says here. Returning leftovers to the fridge seems like the right thing to do. However, leftovers have been sitting out at room temp for over 2 hours. Illness, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Here's the thing. Every 15 minutes, bacteria doubles. So imagine you do that for an hour. You've doubled the chance of getting your, man, you quadruple. It's every 15 minutes, so that's 4 times. You have a 4 times chance of getting yourself sick, and if you're doing it for 2 hours, living out in room 10, you have 8 times chance of getting sick. And the more you keep doing it, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And imagine, it's doubling. The bacteria is doubling, so it can be to 100, and then the next 15 minutes, it's now 200. And it's only going to compound. If you don't believe me, you can go and get a microscope. It's $50. Get your food, whatever you've done, dehydrate it, and then put it onto a little slide, and then you can look under it and you can see. If you know any friends that are scientists, that would be my strong suggestion, is go and ask them, and you can learn from that and see how much it's actually multiplying. I don't want you getting sick, but I guess some people don't care. Live a shorter life, I suppose. Oh, man. This one's strange. I can't even. I know this because I've taught enough cooking classes, and they don't get this. The mistake is they check the color of the chicken or the meat to see if it's done. What? This is so crazy. Why do you do this? Why? It's like I get that you're afraid of, you know, getting yourself sick. You don't have raw meat, but in this part it says majority of the time that the food is not cooked all the way through. This is absolutely true. You can have it all the way, you know, brown. You could have a product that's old meat, or you can also have something that's marinated. And when you have those two things in there as a factor, that method or what you're doing of strategy will not work. You'll have a higher chance of getting yourself sick. I'll give you an example of what I do to trick people. So, majority of the people don't like to see red or pink in their meat. So what I do for like burgers, I'll actually do a teriyaki burger and I'll have it marinated, and it makes it kind of brown and black, and I can still have a juicy piece of meat and still have that pink and red, but it's actually completely colored in, so people don't get to see that red where they're like, oh my god. It's still going to be at like 155 or 140, and it's at the perfect part, but you have the mindset that you think it's done. That can be the same thing what you're doing here. And I know for a fact if I was doing my teriyaki thing, if I threw that into my, burgers, I could have it at 110 and you would still think it, but it would be raw, you would get sick. Please don't do this. Use a thermometer or just practice with other chefs, go to cooking classes and ask how to cook meat correctly. That method's, I can't even believe someone actually does that still, but that's why I guess I will always be able to do cooking classes. Putting chicken or meat to defrost in the fridge. Okay, I don't agree with this one. To correctly place raw chicken or meat in the refrigerator, however, if you put it in the top of your fridge, the juices... Oh, okay, yeah, I agree with this. I see what you're saying. Yes, always put your... So, in the restaurant industry, we have to put our meats always on the bottom, because there's a chance of, say for example, if I put my chicken on the top shelf, we have 4 shelves. If I have chicken on the top shelf and it thaws out, which chicken always drips for whatever reason, it drips to this shelf, this shelf, this shelf, all the 3 shelves. I could have ready-to-eat food right here that's cold food. I can also have food that's ready, it's raw, but I have to cook it, which could be like red meat or fish. This red meat and fish is got a lower cooking temperature. So we'll say fish. Fish is about 140 degrees. Chicken is 165 degrees until you kill off the bacteria such as salmonella. What ends up happening is, if you're going to do a normal method of your fish cooking it to 140, you haven't killed the salmonella. It is still there, and you're going to get sick, and you're going to go, must have been something with the fish. No, it's because of your poor habits of sanitation. That's terrible. Always put your meats on the bottom. The method is fish on the top. Well, if you're doing, let's just say it's only a meat shelf. Fish, then you have your red meat and lamb, then pork, and then chicken or turkey. Poultry is all on the bottom. That's how we do our method. Hopefully you don't do this, but I know this, I still see this habit so often. And the only way you're going to learn, well actually no, you're not going to learn. The only way people would learn is if like it caused deaths, or it actually made them lose limbs, or lose organs. That's the only way someone would actually learn. Because I know people, oh, it's just a little diarrhea, it's fine. If you had diarrhea 200 years ago, people actually used to die from dehydration because they had diarrhea. It's just like, oh, come on. This one, I still see people do this one. Mistake storing glasses and stemware upside down. Although many folks turn glasses, mugs upside down to prevent dirt from getting inside, the top tends to be the most fragile part of the glass. Instead, store the glasses right side up, and close cabinets. This also helps. This will help them interact with dust free. Yeah, exactly. Just have it the other way. That's how we're supposed to store it. If a health department sees me have it the other way around, we actually get marked for dust, and also there's a high chance of we haven't air dry, because you have to wash, rinse, sanitize, and then air dry, and that doesn't properly air dry by doing that method. Most people don't get that because they're not in our industry, but we get marked down for these horrible habits. Let's see the next one. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Quickly cleaning your blender. Okay, Jesus, what's this? What are people doing in this? Although you may think you are cleaning your blender properly, the 2013 NSF, I love the NSF. I want you guys to know the NSF is the best health department on the market. Like, I trust them completely. I mean, I'm sure there's bad apples in that company, but highly educated and very intelligent people, what I found, from experience. And they've actually been all women. They've all been women. So, this is something you should know. Okay, International Household Germ Study found that 36% of blender gastric contain trace of salmonella. What are you guys putting in your... And 43% of them carrying mold or yeast, instead of being washing the blender completely, disassemble it and including the blades and gaskets at the bottom. If the parts are dishwasher safe, place all the separate pieces in the dishwasher. And yeah, but okay, I agree with this, but that's kind of weird. That's strange. People actually do this? Okay. Well, I use what's called a Vitamix. That's what mine is. We put it through the dishwasher. but you can't deassemble it. That you have to take all this stuff, but it's NSF approved. That's one. If you're ever gonna buy a product, always look if it has NSF on it. Most of my products I use are NSF approved because it's dishwasher safe. It doesn't harbor bacteria easily, and it's just easy to clean, like I said before. Anyway, that's pretty much everything I had to say. Hopefully you don't pull these things off, and I hope that you have a better understanding that you shouldn't do this in just in your household. If you continue to do this, you have a higher chance of causing harm to your children. And if you want your children to get sick, I mean, that's kind of on you. I personally wouldn't do that. I would like my children and all my friends' children to live healthy lives. And, pulling these terrible habits causes a restaurant to be shut down and a hotel to be shut down. And if only people could have the health department come into their homes, they would figure out pretty quickly that everyone would fail a health inspection. Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy? Alright, I'm Chef Nicolas Ganea. Don't forget to click the like button. It helps more, with the algorithm. If you want more content like this, that, I do read articles. I do answer a lot of questions from people that ask me from Quora and various other social medias. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe. Peace.